What's going on, people? What's real? Hit that like button. Buffalo Billy. Go rowdy outside, rowdy outside. Boop, boop, boop. Anyways, it's your favorite bean eating mofo, fresh off the banana boat. Big Lou, tapping on in with what it do with Big Lou, NFZR2. So as you can see from that thumbnail, this is a picture of John J. Gotti, aka John Sr., and John A. Gotti, aka John Jr., right? So I just want to make it clear from my perspective what I think, in my opinion, what I believe about John Jr. He was a young man that, looked up to his pops. He looked up to his pops very, very, you've heard him on different interviews and documentaries. That if his dad was excuse me, if his dad was a butcher, he wanted to be a butcher. If his dad was a priest, he would have wanted to be a priest. If his dad was a dentist, he would want to be a dentist. So happened to be his dad was a gangster, so he looked up to his pops. He wanted to be a gangster, right? And at some point as a young man, he ended up going to that New York Cadet Academy or whatever it was called, the same one that Donald Trump went to, the same one that Francis Ford Coppola went to. Raymond Patriarca of Rhode Island's grandson went there. He graduated. You know what I mean? He was very, very proud of graduating. You know what I mean? He was very proud of graduating, and I guess it was his idea to go to the cadet academy. It was his idea. I guess he pitched it to his dad, and his dad was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, let's do that." So he ended up going. You know what I mean? Graduating that. Then at some point he had an incident of a bar fight or something like that. And somebody got stabbed. His dad got upset with him. And at some point, I don't know if he was late teens or early 20s by then, he started making him hang out at the Burger Hunt and Fish Club, right? Which was AKA Gotti headquarters, allegedly, right? And he started hanging out there and with his dad every day, so his dad could see what he was doing, and and such. And then it said that in 1988, December, Christmas Eve of '88, he gets, he takes that oath, right, to become a member of a certain Borgata, the Gambinos, and also a member of the entity in totality, the Cosa Nostra, right? Which we all know there's 5 New York City families. At that time in 1988, there was the Bonanos, Colombos, Gambinos, Genovese, and Casey at that time, right? Buffalo, New York had the Magadino family. New Jersey had the Di Cavalcante family. Philly had the Bruno Scarfo family. New England had the Patriarca family still. You had Florida, you had different people in different states. They had representatives in Connecticut, representatives in different parts of Massachusetts, different parts of New Jersey, right? So we'll just concentrate on the East Coast right now. I'm not going to go into all the names, all the families, right? But anyways, he got made on, like I said, December 24th, 1988, along with Bobby Borriello, Skinny Dom, and Mikey Scars, right? Those are the ones that pop up off my name, pop in my head off top, okay? So he gets made as a soldier, right? I don't know how, I think in Italian it's soldato, Spanish is soldado. And then within 2 years, he's a capo regime or captain, right? Of his own crew by 1990 at the age of 26, right? Then his dad gets arrested December of 90, which he elevates him to acting boss, right? He elevates his brother, John Sr. elevates his brother Peter Gotti as well, who he probably had only been a member by that time, only a year or two as well, right? I think Peter Gotti, the only ones were out of the Gotti brothers that were originally made members was Gene was first before John, because John Sr. was locked up, right? And Gene was made first, and then John Sr. And then I believe once John Sr. became boss, he made his brother Peter, his brother Richie, and his brother Vinny, right? Who, you hear people say that, yeah, John Gotti should have been made, and Gene, and then they're pretty much the only one, the Gotti family. Well, you hear Gravano say that, right? Okay, so he says Pete didn't belong in the life, and Junior, and neither did Vinny and Richie, right? I don't know about all that. I'm not going to comment on all that, but we all know nepotism is real big in that life. You know what I'm saying? Especially the Colombos, Profacci's made all their sons. And then there's a lot of other families that brothers are made, uncles, and nephews, and sons and fathers and sons, right? So it's always big because they believe that if your blood is that strong, you got blood ties, people ain't gonna roll, right? I mean, that's a given. You know what I'm saying? That's a no-brainer, right? So John Sr. goes away December of '90, and then he's convicted sometime in '92, right? Okay. So, a lot of people talk shit about Junior Gotti. Oh, he was dumb. He was forgot the name they used, dumb fella or something like that. But I got to beg to differ, man. I have a different perspective on that. You have to keep in mind that when his father went away, and then 10 months, 11 months into it, Sammy decides to flip. Sammy gave up a lot of guys, right? He testified against John Riggy. He testified against Vinny Gigante. He testified against multiple captains in the family, Jimmy Brown Fiala, John Gambino. I think he testified against Patsy Conti. I believe, I don't mark my words on that one. I think so. Butch Carraro. He testified against 4 or 5 different captains in the Gambino family, at least. You know what I mean? So just imagine how much devastation that did to the family alone. John Gotti Sr. always gets all this. You hear this all the time on different shows, that John Gotti single-handedly bring down the mob. Well, how could he have? When you had guys like Musso and Gaspipe killing a bunch of guys just because they had a dream about something. Or Nicky Scarfo pushing up on bikers and gang members on the street. Anybody that was doing anything illegal in a certain side of town in Philly, he was pushing up on them, talking about they had to break bread. They had to pay homage to him. They started killing people within their own family. You know what I mean? And then you had the Colombo family with their third war. You know what I mean? So bodies were being left all over the place. To say that John Gotti single-handedly brought it down is absurd, right? I mean, okay, yeah, he talked loosely on the tapes, okay, but the generation of bosses just before him all got caught on tape. Paul Castellano had a kitchen bug. Tony Ducks had the car that he was being driven around by Sally Avelino bug. The restaurant over there in on Carroll Street, where Jerry Lang held court, one of the tables were bugged. Tony Salerno's social club, the Palma Boys social club, was bugged. You know what I mean? I think the only boss that didn't get caught on nothing was Rosselli, because Rosselli was locked up, I believe, at the time, right? So when John Jr. and then, okay, so it was John Jr. It was like a panel, right? It was John Jr., Gotti, Peter Gotti, and then I've heard different things. I heard them say it was Jimmy Brown Fiala. I heard them other times say it was Nicky Carrazzo was on that panel. And I even heard like Patsy Conte was on that panel. So I'm not sure really who the third member was, but all the dudes had old school, Nicky Carrazzo was John Gotti Sr.'s same age, and they used to funk a lot. They used to have issues when they were youngsters. And they were kind of like, I don't want to say arch enemies, but they kind of had beef with each other for a long time standing, right? Because it said later that Nicky Carrazzo planned to kill John Jr. I don't know how true that is. I heard like Andrew D. Donato say that, I think, in his book. But, those guys were old school dudes, Jimmy Brown, Patsy Conte, also Nicky Carrazzo. He wasn't as old as those guys. You know what I mean? Like Nicky Carrazzo right now is about 80 years old, 82 years old. Jimmy Brown and Patsy Conte, if they were alive right now, they'd be about 100. They'd be about 100 years old right now, at least, right? And, so the reason why, John Sr., he wasn't dumb, and everybody wants to act like, oh, yeah, he was the worst thing that ever happened. No, the dude was intelligent. He got a little, flamboyant out in the public, but by that time, come on, man, everybody knew that there was a mob. You know what I mean? It had been in the history. It already had been in the news already, dating back since the Appalachian meeting. You know, they put all these guys that got busted around that area from different cities and states in the Life magazine covers and things and such as that. You know, the only thing I will say that on John Gotti Sr.'s part, that when he took over, he wasn't aware of what cops were in charge of what they were making money off of. You know, he had to literally go around with Sammy the Bull. Well, I don't know if he actually went or from Sammy the Bull and Frankie DeChico at first, and talk to all the different captains, because keep in mind, Frankie DeChico was from Brooklyn, Sammy the Bull was from Brooklyn, John Gotti was born in the Bronx originally, raised in Brooklyn, and then later moved to Queens. So John Gotti's faction was considered the Queens Manhattan faction, right? And all those other guys were Brooklyn guys. So Frankie DeChico was from Brooklyn, Sammy the Bull was from Brooklyn. They were like the liaison between the Brooklyn faction and the Manhattan Queens faction, right? And so they had to literally go around, do their homework, and find out who was part of what unions, who was part of what districts, as far as like the garment district and things like that. Trucking, the waste management, all of the different things. You know what I mean? Plus, Butch Carraro was big time in junk. And they say Patsy Conti was too. I don't know how true that is, but he had a big chain of grocery stores. So you had a lot of guys, they had like 20 to 25 captains at one time. So these guys were making fistful of dollars hand over fist, right? And, so John, being the boss now, the newly appointed boss, he wanted to know what everybody was involved with. So he had to send out his underlings to go find out, because he didn't know. That's the only thing that, but then again, he was a couple before that. Are all the couples in each other's business? I don't think so. Only time they're in each other's business, they're doing business deals with each other. They got things going, right? I would imagine. Tim Egan, that Gotti brought down the mob charge doesn't hold up. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because like I just mentioned, two families in New York City that were killing people left and right. I think the Colombo Wars, there was 12 to 14 bodies, and then so many guys got injured, shot up. Joe Waverly, different guys, different attempts on different guys. Like I said, Scarfo in Philly, and then Lucchese's. You know what I mean? So you're talking, a lot of order hits on people. Biggest single factor bringing down the mob was, and there you go there. That was the other point I was going to say after saying that all the bosses, after they took down the bosses in the commission case, they all got caught on wiretaps, phone taps, listening devices, bugs, however you want to call it. They got busted. They were given the RICO. Keep in mind the RICO law was in effect since 1970. They hadn't used it on the mob yet until 85, 86, whatever that was. The first time they used it, I believe it was against some bikers in 1978 or 1979. You know what I mean? So the RICO definitely destroyed. That's why you were able, guys back in the day, you'll say like Bonanno, he ran his family for 30 plus years before they ousted him. Profaci, ended up dying, getting sick and dying. Lucchese, until he got cancer and died, he ran his family for about 30, I don't know about what, I think it was from 51 to 67, I think. You know what I mean? Gambino ran his family for 19 years. There was no RICO back then. You know what I mean? I will say this, though. Tony Ricardo was still around when the RICO was out after the RICO came out in 1970, he still was around for another 20 plus years. He was able to stay out. Marcello, however you want to pronounce it, Carlos Marcello, he did some prison time a few different times, but never was hit with the RICO. Again, like I said, Tony Ricardo, Bruno, but again, back then, it was forbidden for people to open their mouths. You know what I mean? People didn't open their mouths, So when John Gotti Jr. inherits this, his dad went down. His dad's in Marion. Only him and family members can go visit, so they have to be real discreet past when the orders are being passed. That's what him and his Uncle Pete. And then, after Gravano told, there was a lot of, he told, like I said, he gave up a lot of soldiers in the family and 4 or 5 different captains, So just imagine, John Gambino was big in the junk, right? Big in the junk. He had straight ties to Sicily. He had so much power. He was able to sit down with Totorina. You know what I mean? He was second, third cousins with Gambino, Carlo Gambino. You know what I mean? He told on different, like I said, soldiers. He told on Lorenzo Menino, who's supposed to be the allegedly boss now. He told on him. Yeah, Gravano did. You know what I mean? So he put the family in shambles from, not the whole scenario of what happened with them, as far as the bugs, him going down, Gravano telling on other families, leadership, and on different meetings he had, and within with the own Gambino family. You know what I mean? So John Gotti Jr. was already pretty much screwed when he got that position of acting boss. You know what I mean? He gets caught with some money in his house, but gangsters always hid money in their. I think for the most part, they always hid money within the walls in a safe. You know what I mean? I think that was normal practice for a lot of them. But I'll say this, that I believe that man is still living off his money today that he made from back then. He made a ton of money, man. They said he got busted. I heard a couple different stories. He got busted with 300,000, and I heard another time 800,000. With the list of newly anointed members, and I don't really buy that. I don't really buy that story. The money, I can see that happening, but the list of members, I don't really buy that. Like I said, he's smart. He has a business sense he has a business sense head on his shoulders. Look. I mean, if you didn't look, look what he's doing now. He don't have a legitimate job, like a job where you work. He's making money off projects and different things. Plus he bought real estate and stuff like that before, and he's living off all that. Plus he's making money. He's got to be making some money. He did projects with that rapper Burner from San Francisco. He's got other things in the work. With Sec Mafia. He's got his hands on different things, acting companies. I'm pretty sure. But he put away a lot of money, and he had money stashed in a whole bunch of different houses, and and he's still living off that money today. Now, I will say this: me personally, okay, I'm not a member of that life. Never was, right? Never even met somebody in person from that life, or that was part of that life at one time. I will say this: his father was big on people taking deals. He was against it, right? You had to take it all the way to trial. Look at his own brother Gene. He could have taken like an 8, 9 year, 10-year deal. He ended up losing in trial, getting 50 and pulling 30 on the 50, right? It was the old law, so he didn't have to do the whole 90% on the 50 years like the way it is now. So he did 30 years, went in around, I think he went in 1988, came out in 2017, something like that. So he did just about 30 years, right? That goes for him and John Koenig. And then Angelo Ruggiero ended up passing away from cancer, right? He was one of the co-defendants at first, I believe, after he took over his brother Sal's operation, right? John Sr. was against taking deals. And I even heard and read before that, I even heard Angel, I think even Angel touched on it, about her father was against even helping, assisting his defense, like getting documents, anything like that. He considered that a form of ratting. You know what I mean? So when John Jr. sets up this meeting to go talk to his dad by the judge, but it has to be taped, his dad told him straight up, he goes, "Closure, that's not even a word in your vocabulary. Jojo told me," and he's speaking of Jojo Carrazzo's son. Jojo is a lawyer, Nicky Carrazzo's nephew. He tells him, basically, he's just telling him straight up right there, nah, we're not with that. I think that was 1999 when that meeting, pretty sure you guys seen it on I think that was CBS that time, and the fact that, he ended up making, in that life, you're never supposed to sit down with the government, right? He had a proffer session. Most of the stuff he said was hearsay or, second, third hearsay removed. You know what I mean? But the fact is, in that life, you're not supposed to sit down, and then when you start admitting that, oh yeah, I was part of that life at one point, but I'm not now, that's frowned upon big time, right? Even though there's been guys like Carmine Persico who's admitted that he was a member, not that he was the boss, but he was a member. That's why some of the guys like Billy Catolo wasn't feeling him as the boss no more because he felt that was a rat move. Ali Boy Persico, his son, allocuted about himself and admitted that he was acting boss on his, he was acting boss. I know that Daniel Marino allocated, admitting that he was a captain and a member. I don't know if he was part of a panel at that time, and he admitted it too. Like I mentioned earlier in another video on loyalty, I brought up Joseph Piney Armoni, and the judge. This is just after, this is a little bit after Frankie DeChico was killed. He gets indicted, and the judge straight up tells him, he goes, "Hey, if you allocute and tell the court who you are and that and you belong and where you and what family you belong to and where your position is," he goes, I won't have you turn yourself in until after the holidays. And his wife, as soon as his wife heard that, she started crying out loud because she knew that man was not going to break he was not going to break the code of silence, right? The code of omerta. He was not going to break it. Therefore, he went off to prison. He died in prison, right? So that's a perfect example. And then you got all these other guys that have been in there for a ton of years that, like I mentioned too, Carmine Persico, they try to say he was a rat, and they bring out this bogus ass document, and it's talking about on top of the paper, it says the high echelon, the high echelon cooperators program or something like that. And they had a bunch of heavy hitters' names: Paul Castellano, Carmine Galante, Anilo Del Croce. It had Persico's name. There was a bunch of names on there, but they had this number next to their names, and it was all the same number. It was Greg Scarpa's FBI number. You know what I mean? So that got debunked real quick. Shout out to Persico's lawyers, and they went on Justice Tech Pros with Dominic, and they debunked it right then and there too as well. So in that life, you're not supposed to sit down, even though he was there with his lawyer, and the lawyer, I think it was Lichman, and was still his lawyer at the time. It wasn't Charles Carnesi, but these guys are, these guys have represented mobsters in the past. They will not represent a rat because it'll mess up their practice. They'll be considered it'll just mess up their reputation in their practice. These guys get hired all the time by mobsters. You know what I'm saying? So Litchcomb, however you pronounce his name, he was a junior. I believe he was a junior partner at the time with Gerald Shargle and Bruce Cutler way back when I think Gotti caught his first case in the 90s, late 90s, I believe it was. Then fast forward 5-6 years later, he done made a name for himself, and now John Gotti Jr. is looking to hire him as an attorney. So it was considered a proffer session, queen of the day, I guess they call it. Thing is with that is that you can be talking, words are coming out your mouth, but the agents are typing whatever they want to type. You know what I mean? It's not like, from my understanding how it works, they don't type things down word for word. You know what I mean? So if they want to put something in there, they can put something in there. It's not like you got to sign it. I don't think you sign it like if you make a statement in a police department. Excuse me, and they don't record it. You know what I mean? So that's why it's just best not to even go in there, because if you don't even go in there, then you ain't even got the issue of them, typing up some bogus shit on you, trying to say you did this or that. That's another reason you don't go in there and do that. But from what I read, R.J. Roger too. Shout out to R.J. Roger, Black Hand Print Mafia. He did a video about it. He did not consider John Gotti as telling, right? And then on the flip side of it, you look at it like, well, if he was telling, then why would he have to go to 4 trials? And imagine all the money he had to spend on that. All those trials were mistrials, and then finally, the government finally said, okay, enough's enough. Because you had terrible witnesses like John A. Light. They didn't believe him. They felt he was a liar. Curtis Sliwa, another one, right? He's got a bad history of telling lies about stories and situations. What's up, Adam? How you feeling, man? I hope you feel better. Rico got the mob big time. Yeah, we already mentioned that. So John Gotti Jr., that was a bad look for him doing that. I heard somebody say that he said he regretted doing that. It was the worst mistake of his life. I never heard him say that. But they were hoping that by him doing that, that it was gonna somehow work in his favor. I don't know what he meant by that. You know, and his lawyer was talking, and he said he didn't agree with it. He didn't want him to do it. You know what I mean? But it was part of a strategy, supposedly. You know, and we all know if his pops was alive by that time, he would not have dug that at all. And I think this is my personal opinion. I believe his dad put him on the shelf before he passed. I believe he put him on the shelf and he kind of ostracized him and didn't mess with him no more. Like he wouldn't even talk to him. I don't think. You know, I'm so tired, bro. You're so tired or so tired. But I seen you made a video, I think yesterday, so that's a little better, you know. Yeah, I believe his dad would have disowned him. And then later on, you hear that Nicky Carrazzo put a green light on him, right? Because Nicky Carrazzo was slated to be the boss at one point, but then he got busted again. Di Donato told on him, and I don't know if some other people told on him, but he ended up falling again in another case, going back to the joint. I think he's out now. I believe he's out now. And then too, his brother at one time was the consigliere. Let's see. I want to see if Nicky Carrazzo's out. I'm not sure if he's out, but I'm above ground, so I feel blessed. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's see. Nicky Carrazzo is American New York mobster of the Gambino family, right? He was a captain. He was born in 1940, so him and John Gotti were born in the same year, 1940. John Gotti, so he's a little bit older than John Gotti. So I said he's 80. He's 82, actually. Okay, so during the 80s, Nick Carrazzo was a bitter rival of Gambino captain Gotti. When Gotti became boss in 85, he declined to promote Carrazzo to captain. However, since Carrazzo was such a good earner for the family, Gotti did not want to get rid of him. In turn, Carrazzo professed loyalty to Gotti. It was only after Gotti went to prison in 92 that Carrazzo was finally promoted to captain, along with Gambino soldier Lenny Di Maria. So Lenny Di Maria and Carrazzo were very tight cats together, like Fat Andy and Tony Lee. With Gotti in prison, Carrazzo, Di Maria, and Nicholas' brother Joseph, now the alleged consigliere, formed a ruling panel that unofficially ran the Gambino family. In the mid-90s, Carrazzo was elevated to serve on the ruling panel. In 96, Carrazzo allegedly ordered the murder of Lucchese crime family associate Robert Arena. Arena had allegedly murdered Anthony Placido, a member of Carrazzo's crew, and had failed to return some stolen marijuana to a drug dealer. Okay, let's see. So he got busted in Florida in 96. He was indicted in Florida on 20 racketeering charges that included attempted murder, arson, and loan sharking. Carrazzo was accused of running a loan sharking business in Deerfield Beach, Florida, that charged 260% yearly interest on loans. Damn. Okay. So Carrazzo was released in June of 2004. It was expected he would again take over the Gambino crime family. However, due to increased law enforcement attention, he initially kept a low profile. The Gambinos were reportedly led by Jackie Knows D'Amico until 2005. Carrazzo kept his position as capo regime despite health concerns and tight parole restrictions. In 2006, a new report stated that Carrazzo and D'Amico were the bosses of the Gambino family, with Arnold Zeeks with Terry as underboss and Joseph Carrazzo as consigliere. Okay, so he gets indicted again in 2008, Operation Old Bridge, and the other for the state Operation Touchback. The federal indictment was for the 96 Arena and Maranga murders and other racketeering charges, with Bolaro as their main witness. Okay, let's see what he gets out of this one. He pleaded guilty in 2008, July, and on April 17, 2009, Carrazzo was sentenced to 13 and a half years in federal prison for the 96 murder of Arena and Maranga. Okay, Carrazzo was originally incarcerated at United States Penitentiary Leavenworth, a medium security facility in Leavenworth, Kansas, but was later moved to the FCC Florence, a high security facility in Collins, Colorado. As of March 15, he was incarcerated at the federal institution FCI Laredo, a low security facility in Laredo, Pennsylvania. As of March 2018, Carrazzo was imprisoned at the low security FCI Allenwood Low in Allenwood, Pennsylvania. His projected release date was March 2nd, 2020, but he was released early, November 29th, 2019. Okay, so he's been out. So I guess what happened was, after the Sicilians took over, that was it. He must have got ousted too, I guess. So again, talking about John Jr., he was in a jacked up situation from the beginning. I would love to collab with you like you did with Harvey, bro. Okay. We're looking. Yeah. Well, we'll figure out when's a good day for you and when you're feeling okay, and we'll go from there. I got to keep making videos because I can't leave the APS Army hanging. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Be strong. Yeah. So like I said, John Jr. and then Peter, they both went into jacked up situations, and then I think Peter wasn't really that type of leader. I think John Jr. was, he kind of got tested when Bobby Borriello was killed, and he confronted, I think it was Barney Bellomo, boss of the Genovese at that time, about, I forgot the guy's first name, Geritano. They believed that he did it, that he killed him. But come to find out, that wasn't true. I think Bellomo was like, we ain't messing with him. We're not touching him, because he knew that that Geritano had nothing to do with it. I heard Gotti killed 30 people. Do you know if that's true? Gotti didn't kill no 30 people. I think Gotti killed a couple people that he was involved with the murders, and then he cleaned up some murder scenes as far as the bodies, got rid of the bodies a couple times, and then he ordered some hits later on when he was the boss. But not no 30 people. Now it's probably more around maybe 10 altogether. Some way or another, he had something to do with. And so I think that was kind of a stain on Junior Gotti as far as leadership. He didn't get a lot of respect from different people, because a lot of people didn't respect his dad. There was a lot of guys that had a lot of respect for his dad, but some guys didn't like his get down. They didn't like his flashiness. How he was in the he was always in the front of the camera and things like that. And the fact that the kid really, in their eyes, he didn't really earn his bones the right way. And, it was just nepotism brought in and elevated real quick. You know what I mean? The ironic thing about John Sr. being against plea deals is that he took a plea deal. Yeah, but that was back when he wasn't even a member yet when he took that. And Roy Cohn got him that deal, right? He wasn't a member. He wasn't even a member at that time when he took that. This is more towards later when he became, when he became the boss, he was against that. Because because most of the time when you get busted in that life, you got co-defendants. So if you take a deal, then you're saying I'm guilty, and you're saying that everybody else is guilty. You know what I'm saying? When you admit something and you got co-defendants, that means that you're guilty and they're guilty too. You know what I mean? That's usually what it means, and that's why a lot of guys don't want to do that either. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get off. I'm probably gonna end this though, Adam. But yeah, yeah, I don't know when Gotti started pushing that. I know for sure after he became boss, and the first evidence of that was with his brother Gene and John Koenig and those guys, right? And then of course himself, you know what I mean, and his son. He didn't want his son to take a deal. His son took a deal, so I think his son got what did he get? John Jr. got 60-something months, I believe it was, 78 months, 67 months. His first time in when he went to Raybook. So if he would have lost in trial, he probably would have got 20 years at least. So that's the objective thing, though. It's honest to God. It's the objective thing, because when it comes to the feds, you're not going to just be it by yourself. You're going to have co-defendants, because that's what makes it a trial. That's what makes it a federal thing, right? Conspiracies and all this other stuff. They like I said, they take, they say, okay, here's the deal for you, 5 years. Here's a deal for you, 8 years. Here's a deal for you, 15 years. And, you got these guys taking deals, and then you got a guy that don't want to take the deal, and it just automatically brands him as guilty. That's the way cats look at it in the system. Jerry Gambuti, our favorite Italiano from down under, a.k.a. Habib. What's up, Habib? Oh, matter of fact, I got two Australians on here, two mates. I got Adam from Australian Prison Stories, and I got Jerry Gambuti. Where you live, Jerry? You live in, I don't know if you said you lived in Sydney or I forgot what you said. And Adam, I don't remember where you lived either, but I know you guys are both from Australia. That's cool. Two cats from Australia at the same time. That's what's up. That's what I thought, Big Lou. That's what I thought, Big Lou. Didn't think it was true. Yeah, Adam, you see Jerry Gambuti right here? He's from Aussie too. Oh yeah, he's in Sydney. His family are from Italy, and I don't know if Sicily or Italy, but one or the other. He speaks Italian, and they immigrated to Australia. That's the cool thing about having people following you from different parts of the world, because when I first started learning that certain guys, there's Italians from, like I said, Jerry's from Australia. There's another Italian friend of the channel named Claudio. He's from Canada, but he's Italian. There's another one named Joe. He's from England. He lives in England, from England, but he's Italian. You always think that everybody comes here to the United States, you know what I mean? But no, I started learning that people were going to other places as well. You know what I mean? Pretty cool, man. I definitely like the range, the different people from different places. You know what I mean? The Aussies got your back. Yeah. Sydney. Sicily and Napoli. Okay, so yeah, one of your parents is from Sicily, one's from Napoli. Okay, cool. Italians are everywhere. New Zealand, Australia, UK. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. Adam, where you live at? So Jerry lives in Sydney. I'm not sure. I don't remember where you said you lived at. Facts. I like connecting all over the world. Yeah, that's cool. Minnie the Moocha. So, so I don't know what you guys think about John Jr., but in my book, John Jr. is a very smart, intelligent individual. Unfortunately, he had a plan, a strategy when he sat down for the proper session. He had his attorney there with him. You know what I mean? So, I don't believe that, he went in there with the intention to rat on people, because like most of the things he said was like, oh, Angelo Ruggiero told me this, Joe Watts told me that, but that don't hold up nothing. That don't hold no water, because it's hearsay. You know what I mean? So I don't believe that, but I believe that John Jr. was when he was elevated to the acting boss at 26 years old. He was in his 20s, just got married in 88, just got put on in 88. It was a little bit too fast for him. And not to mention that, he was just put in a jacked up situation after what happened. His father went away. The whole administration went away. Less than a year into it, Sammy flips, tells on all these couple of different bosses from different families, everything that he knew of, because he had that high position, so he was going out talking to guys on behalf of Senior, from the Lucchese's, he was from Brooklyn, they were from Brooklyn, you know what I mean? He told, like I said, he told on two bosses. He testified against Riggy, he testified against the Chin Gigani, and then he told on like 4 or 5 captains from the family. So you don't think that put them, that jacked him up. I think Gotti Jr. did a decent job, man, for what he was working with. You know what I mean? For what he was working with, he didn't do that bad of a job. The only thing that was, again, I'm not part of their life, so your attorney's there, they're going to direct you what to answer, what not to answer, things of that nature. And those attorneys do not represent rats. You know what I'm saying? It's that simple. They do not represent rats, because that's going to tarnish their reputation as a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Most guys, when they find out you want to flip, they say, okay, I'm gone, goodbye. You know what I mean? And they don't deal with it. So Lynchcomb, like I said, he's not going to represent a rat. Neither would Charles Carnisi, the old man that Junior Gotti had for a while towards the end. And he passed away, I think, last year or the year before. They're not going to represent rats. The only thing was on his part, he didn't follow the directives of his boss, which is Oh, okay. Adams in Sydney as well. So he didn't follow the directives of his father. His father said no deals, and then he sat down with the government. And in that life, that's what you're gonna get. They're gonna call you stuff like that. You know what I mean? They're gonna call you stuff like that. A rat, and so on and so forth. But is is Sydney the biggest city in Australia? I believe that's the biggest city, right? You got Queensland. Uh, what else you got? Queensland, Australia. Those are the ones I can remember. I watched a couple documentaries yesterday on dingoes. Three dingo families. One was in Wales. One was in uh, Australia, and the other one was like on the something beach. I forgot what it's called. Something beach, and they were different. They were different. Uh, a little bit different breed. Like they looked a little bit different. They looked like dingoes, but some of them had curl tails. Some of their ears were a little bit longer. You know what I mean? Their noses were a little bit longer, and they were showing how they, raise the puppies like the wolves do, like the African wild dogs do. How where just the alpha male and female have puppies, and everybody else helps raise them and feed them, and take care of them, and stuff like that. See, Australian prison stories. I'm at Abbotsford. You are around the corner. 20 minutes. Nice. Nice, mate. Have you guys seen that new show on Netflix with the guy he's from Australia. He's got they go and get crocs and they go move them. They go and capture them, and then if they're problem crocs, like where they're getting too close to people or they're getting they're starting to have issues with them getting too close to livestock or taking cows, taking them into the water and killing them. It's called, I forgot what it's called, man, but it's pretty. I like it. Dude's got a little nice house. He has a little 2-year-old named Banjo, and the kid growing up hunting, fishing. He's hunting out in the bush, mate. You know what I mean? And these crocs are huge, man. They're vicious. They're nothing like alligators. Crocs are fucking mean as heck. They call those salties, right? I think those ones are called. No. Owls are the ones from Africa, and then the ones from Australia are called. Yeah, I think they are called salties. I believe so. And they say these ones from Australia are even more aggressive than the ones in Africa. But it's different because the ones in Africa, you see that there's like when wildebeest or any animals cross in, there's a bunch of crocs and they feed together. Where they'll, when they do the death roll, it's ripping off chunks of meat and they swallow everything whole. Well, when they show the ones in Australia, you just see one usually. You don't see a whole bunch of them. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different. But anyways, I'm getting a little off topic. But back to what I was saying, John Jr. I believe, like I said earlier, I believe he's still living off the money that he made from way back then because he made a ton of money. He had, I think Mikey Scars or somebody said that he had money in 5, 6 different houses. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? In 5 or 6 different homes, stashed away. I don't know if it was in safes or he would just give it to them in bags and they would, stash it for him or whatnot. But he invested a lot of money in real estate. He had companies, a trucking company, I know at one time, and he's got his hands on a bunch of different projects. You know what I mean? And I believe he's a smart investor. He's a smart business guy. And you know what? Like again, in that life, I never was involved in that life, but I don't believe he's an outright rat. There's no way that he would have been to trial that many times. You know what I mean? Crocs will wait for you. They are hunters. They wait for ages. They knock people. Are out of boats. They usually do death roll, then drown you, then they eat you. Yeah. They'll sit there and wait for however long it takes to get a shot at you, lunge out at you, and their tail is where the power comes from. When they lunge out 5, 6 feet and shoot out there to try to grab somebody, it's their tail, right? Not to mention their tail will whack you and knock you almost down. Melbourne, that's the other one I was thinking of. But yeah, they got the strongest jaws there are. You know what I mean? They got they're huge. They weigh anywhere from 600 to 800 pounds. You know what I mean? They're apex predators, bro. That's what they're called, apex predators. And Yeah, they'll lay there. They'll wait for hours to try to get a shot at getting you. That's for sure. You know what I mean? Where I live in Concord West, it's nice and peaceful here. That's right. And they're, you got the American alligator. They do the death row as well. But partly when they do that death row, um, they're taking you underwater and they're trying to drown you. You know what I'm saying? And then they rip. And then also the death row is part of, because they don't have teeth that can. They just got teeth. Their jaws just chomp. They can't rip. Not rip, but they can't tear the flesh. So when they do that roll, after they get a good bite of you, they do that roll, and the chunks of meat will just rip right off, and they swallow it whole. And a lot of times they'll kill their prey alive. You know what I mean? Sometimes they'll drown it. I've seen them drown it before, and a lot of times I think they bury it too. Sometimes underground, they'll take it underwater and bury it. American alligators are still a little less aggressive. Oh, they're a lot less aggressive. American alligators are a lot less aggressive. You know what I mean? Because I watch swamp people, and they'll get a hold of them, and then they'll get a hold of them, and they'll do a few death rolls. They'll slam into the boat a little bit with their heads, but a lot of times, they'll stop moving and give you a clear shot to pop them, right, and kill them. The crocs, on the other hand, they're not allowed to kill them. I don't think, unless some type of freak, accident where they're gonna bite somebody. Life and death. But what they do is they take their mouths, and then they wrap. First they put a noose around their, like a cowboy on a horse or a bull or a cow, whatever. They put that around their mouth on one. They'll put one on one jaw, the upper jaw, and then sometimes they'll put a second one on the upper jaw, or they'll put them on a second one on both jaws, and then they tape it up. But what they do is they'll cover their eyes, and once they cover their eyes, that gives them a lot of comfort where they're not acting so crazy. You know what I'm saying? Little black widow effects. What's that mean? I'm more afraid of those little spiders. Oh yeah, I don't like spiders. I don't like when I see snakes. It gives me the creeps. I don't like snakes at all. Period. Any snake. I don't give a shit what they look like. It gives me the creeps. I think evil right away when I see them because of the stories, obviously in the Bible and the ancient stories. Ancient stories about them. Some people, ancient people, indigenous people have different beliefs about the snake and different animals, but they just give me a ugh. You know what I mean? Especially the big ass pythons and the rock pythons, the African rock pythons, the Indian rock pythons, the anacondas. And of course the venomous ones. Buffalo, look up redback spider. Tiny but can kill. Their venom only kills people. LOL. Yeah, Australia has a lot of deadly animals, as well as Brazil. You know what I mean? But anyways, it's a trip, man. It's a trip. But another thing about the kangaroos in Australia, there's like, I want to say there's like, and different. If you go to Eastern Australia, Western, North, South, there are different species of kangaroos over there. And all good, Jerry, don't trip. And there's different species of kangaroos over there, and they look a little different in color. Some of them might be a little taller than others. Some of them smaller. They're all marsupials, where they carry the joey in the pouch, right? And I like watching things like that. Man, our red kangaroo will fuck you up. Lucky Loco, what's up, player? Man, our red rat kangaroo will fuck you up. Yeah, I've seen I can't think of that dude's name, man, but he went around. He has usually he works with snakes and alligators and stuff like that. But he went to that. Matter of fact, the dude from Australia that I'm talking about with the show where he captures the crocs and relocates them and things. He has some on his land where he has one big male in each enclosure, and with a pond, and he feeds them. They're crazy, right? No, not Irwin. It's man, what's his name? They got a new Netflix show. I'll tell you new Netflix show about Crocs. Let's see if I can find the name. Okay, here it is. Wild Croc Territory. And the guy's name's Matt Wright. And his fearless team of crocodile wranglers catch and relocate some of the world's most ferocious reptiles in Australia's wild outback. The bush, Mike. And every other word is Mike. Hey, Mike. And this guy got airboats. He's got airboats. He's got helicopters. He's got tractors. He got all kinds of different equipment. He just made a beach house recently, and he has a little boy named Banjo, and I believe the wife's pregnant right now with a kid. And then, I mean, these guys, they have this cage where they put this cage out there to try to catch, the croc, and they usually catch them. And then they get inside there with them. And like I said earlier, they put like a cowboy, they put rope around his nose, around his muzzle, around his mouth, however you want to call it. And then they tape his mouth closed, and then they put something like a cloth over his eyes and cover his eyes. Reptiles scare me. I'm just keeping it. Yeah, I was just saying that. I don't like snakes at all, period. I don't like rats. I don't like spiders. I don't like shit like that. Scorpions, none of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Alligators, I won't touch none of that shit. Turtles, I won't touch any of it. Amphibians, any of it, I won't mess with it. You know what I mean? Straight up. Not my cup of tea. Catch my drift. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, I watched that show. It was on TV, but I couldn't think of the name of the show. Yeah, he's a cool guy, Matt. Yeah, Matt. And now he's got his wife's brother, who's a city boy, so he must be from Melbourne or Sydney. And now he's working for him. And, he's a good worker. He's just not, they ride him and give him a bad time, but the man's never worked. Yeah, I don't mess with frogs either, Daniel. And, he's never worked in that. You're talking about these guys are experts. You know what I mean? This guy's never worked there. He's never done any of that stuff. So, of course, it's going to take him some time to get used to things. Yeah, booty, I'd be a nervous wreck, bro. How you do it? Because of the Dagos here, we tend to say bro more. Old Aussies or Anglo say mate. Good night, mate. Yeah, mate. Hey, hey, mate. You ready, mate? Yeah, they're always mate this, mate that. Which is cool, though, because it reminds me of, when I hear them talk, it reminds me of Hugh Jackman. It reminds me of Hugh Jackman for some reason. But, yeah, I really enjoyed that show, man. I watched it over. I like Swamp People. It was one of my shows I used to watch. But there's a huge, big difference between a croc and a gator. I mean, you're talking like, okay, alligators, when they find like anything like 11 foot, even 10 foot, they celebrate. But 11 foot, 12 footers, they're considering that a monster. Every now and then they'll find something like 13 and a half feet, 14 feet, alligator, American alligator in Louisiana. That's considered huge. You know what I mean? And then you got different crews in that movie, in the show Swamp People. You got geez, I can't even think of the guy's name right now. The older guy, the one that's been there since the first season, and you got the couple boys. Troy is considered the king of the swamp, right? He always finds bigger ones. And then you got like RJ and J. Paul, where they find smaller gators, like 8-footers, 7-footers, 9-footers, a lot of that. But then again, too, when they show the show, they only show the bigger catches. They don't show they try to show only the ones that are 8, 9 foot, 10 foot and bigger. You know what I mean? Snakes, mice, dude, they have garden snakes at the dog park. LOL. I hope nobody saw me running. I'm gonna post that up. Yeah, mice don't really bother me. The only thing with the mice that bother me, because I've been in the joint, especially in DVI, Tracy, they get in your cell a lot. Up under the toilet, they'll slip underneath the door. No matter if you put something there like paper, roll up newspaper, and then put socks on each side of it and stuff it underneath the door, they still found a way in there, because I heard they don't have a skeleton, so they're able to squeeze through things. I can see them moving around in the cell. It doesn't bother me, but when I can't see them and I hear them like all in my food, like in my bags and stuff, making noise, that bothers me. I can't, you know what I mean? His right-hand man got killed in the making of the show. What? Wow, I got to look that up. Hey, Big Lou, are you at Burger King parking lot? Just saying. No, I'm not at Burger King. I'm at a store, though. Just saying. Just saying, huh? So, fratello mio, me dispiace, eh? Andiamo a mangiare Burger King? Yeah. So, yeah, yeah, Claudio Perry's in the house now. I was speaking about him earlier. As far as I was telling the live here about how now being on YouTube, meeting all you guys, that I wasn't aware of people, Italians, migrating to other parts of the world. I always thought they came here. You know what I mean? But no, Canada, Australia, England, some of them North Africa, Sicily. A lot of them from Sicily went to North Africa. You know what I mean? And I was telling Adam from Aussie Prison Stories that was cool. You know what I mean? But no, I'm not at no Burger King. Very, very talented man. Yeah. If you haven't subbed to Claudio Perry, go check out his channel. Chris Matt's right hand man was killed in a helicopter crash when they were making the show. Wow, I'm gonna have to check that one out. I wonder, was it in one of the first scenes, or what was it? Because there's a couple of the guys that are on there. Did they not finish it out and died? I wonder if it's one of the guys that are on the show. Man, that's a trip. Because those are his ride or die guys, man. Those guys have been with them for a minute, and they do all the gruesome, not the gruesome, but all the all the hard work with them. Wow, I'll Google that. Yeah, I'm gonna Google that too. So yeah, that's my take on the crux of all C, right? Good eye, mate. Australian for beer, and that's my take and my perception of John A. Gotti, aka John Jr. Not to mention his son is a hell of a fighter, right? I don't even know what to call him because they call his father John Sr., but he really was John Jr. John Gotti Sr. really was John Jr. He was named after his father, and that was his name coming up as a youngster. And then here he has a son, John A. Gotti, which they don't even have the same middle name, so technically they wouldn't be senior or junior, because that's how my dad and brother are. They got the same first name, same last name, different middle name. So my brother's technically not a junior. His middle name is Angelo, so he named him Angelo, middle name after Angelo Ruggiero. And then John Jr., aka John Jr., he has another son named John that fights MMA, and then Peter, his son Peter, his John Jr.'s brother Peter, has a son named John as well. You know what I mean? So it gets confusing with all the different Johns, right? That was in the first season. Yeah, I don't know how many seasons they got, because all they got on Netflix is one season. I think it's 10 episodes. What about those fish that swim up your? What about those fish that swim up your Jap? Big Lou, he's got John Gotti third. You talking about Junior Gotti has his son is John Gotti third? Yeah, but how can that even be when he's not even really a junior? That's just a name that he picked up on the street. They have different middle names, so he's not a junior technically. You got to have the same first name, same middle name, and same last name as your father in order to be considered a junior. Like I said, my dad's name and my brother, they got the same first name, same last name, but they got different middle names. So therefore, my brother's not a junior. Now his son's a junior. My son's a junior. We got the same first, middle, and last name. But like I said, the father, Angel's father, John Sr., what they call John Sr., John J. Gotti, is really he's really junior. His father was senior. He's junior. They used to call him junior when he was running the streets as a youngster, and as a young man, and as an associate, they called him junior. You know what I mean? So what do they call? What do they call episode 1? My bad. Okay. In Brazil, if you piss, what? I know a junior. He doesn't have the same middle name. Yeah, but he's not really a junior. He might go by junior, but he's not really a junior. You got to have the same exact name as your pops. Same first name, same last name, same middle name. Junior, hello. Junior. Let's see what I was going to say right here. In Brazil, if you piss in some lakes, there's a parasite that does into your pija. Wow. What about What about then you got you got something that swims up your thing, right? And I don't know what it does to you. And then you got those leeches too. They'll go on your balls and shit like that. I'm not sure what they do, but it can't be good, right? You know, that's objective shit. You learn something new every day, I guess. Yeah, you do. But that's the beauty of it, right? You keep your mind open and you learn something new every day. Because there's so many single-minded people, closed-minded people that not only refuse, they don't want to learn nothing new. They refuse to learn anything new. You go live at Good Times, Lou. It's morning here in Austin. That's what's up. I went live today. I went live today 5 times. I went live 5 times today because I didn't do nothing over the weekend, so I was trying to catch up. I wasn't feeling good over the weekend. I got changed. I got this medication they gave me, and it jacked up my stomach, and it made me have a lot of like cramps, bad cramps, and and it wasn't allowing me, and I couldn't use the restroom. It just jacked me up. I had a side effect reaction or whatever, I guess, and I couldn't use the bathroom, so I was so uncomfortable. Sunday was my car club's. We had an event for just called Trick or Trunk, and basically what you do, you open up, you pop your trunk, and you set it up with like Halloween decorations, and then you pass out candy to the kids. And last year was cool. I had my Cadillac rolling last year, so we did that. This year, I sold my Cadillac in November of last year, and then I bought a new car, a Chevy, and I haven't got around to doing much to it yet. And then plus the way I was feeling, I was going to go anyways and take my SUV and pop that trunk, you know, because I have rims on it and stuff, but I just wasn't feeling up to it. No way I was going to be able to sit there feeling the way I was feeling, always feeling like I had to go to the bathroom and I couldn't go. You know what I'm saying? It was miserable. Oh, Big Lou, I made you a mod on my channel as I want you to know. I appreciate it. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Let me see. Are you a mod here? I think you are. Let's see. Let me see. But yeah, I went live twice. I went live 5 times today, and I dropped 2 videos, pre-recorded videos. I was a busy man today. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Okay, let me there you go. It's 10:44 a.m. Wednesday morning here. Wednesday morning? Oh yeah, it's Tuesday morning. I was thinking today was Wednesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday morning here at 4:45 p.m. Go ahead, Jerry, drop your link here, and also Adam, drop your link. Yeah, it's 10:40. What is it? 10:40. I mean, 4:44. So you got what? Uh, 7 hours. 7 hours. So it's like 17 hours. Yeah, it's about 17 hours. Yeah, I've been busy. What up, Dub? To come up. Yeah, drop your link if you know how to drop your link, Jerry, and drop your link, Adam, so people can sub to you guys if they're not subbed already. I think most of the people in here are already subbed to Jerry, perhaps, but there you go. Adam dropped his link. There you go, folks. Give Australian prison stories a sub. He just dropped his link. Also, Jerry dropped his link. Jerry Gambuti dropped his link. Sub to him if you haven't already. Billy, her family still calls me white boy still. Who calls you white boy? Mine is half black, half Japanese. I'm being racist, by the way, my girlfriend age. Oh, okay. You gotta drink a lot of water with those pills. Oh man, where's Carlos? I guess he's at home. I told him if he wasn't busy to come tap in with me, but I haven't heard nothing back. So he might be taking a nap or something. Uh, oh yeah, you was asking, Jerry. You sure were asking. What you mean you weren't asking? Well, what did that mean then? You were like, hey, you got a wrench on my channel, but you know, I'm not asking for one, but I just want to put it in your ear. uh, exactamente. Nah, all good. I'm just playing with you, man. I sub to your channel, Jerry. Okay, good. Add him sub to your channel. My girlfriend is Japanese, so I may have some little Japolitano kids. LOL. Huh. I ain't seen Carlos in hella long. Yeah, Carlos is pretty much just he ain't really been going on too many channels, or I guess even watching so many. I did it live. Caught me. Haha. Yep. Um, me either. I haven't been going on many channels. To be frank, I'm just after I got accused of giving somebody's information and his family's information, which is a crock of shit. I see so many people comment on there like they just took his word for it. You know what I mean? And that's straight bullshit. You know what I mean? So, I, just because I don't speak out on somebody doesn't mean that I believe that he was really what he said he was. You know what I'm saying? Just think about it. It's common sense. You don't have to necessarily be from the street or have been to the joint and stuff like that to know somebody that doesn't show his face is constantly making fun of other people's looks, weight, uh, things of that nature, and then you never know what he looks like. And all he does is talk shit about everybody, that he can whoop everybody's ass, everybody's a bitch, everybody's a punk, but yet, how can anybody get at you if you don't even know who you are? It's, it's fucking weird. It's comical and it's weird. You know what I'm saying? It's weird and comical at the same time because no real gangster, no real street dude, no real ex-con, no real convict, and it's definitely not old school. I've seen somebody make a comment, I don't know how many times, about it being old school. It's not old school at all. Oh, sure, Big Lou, I'm Chicago Muscle. All my accounts were hacked. Yeah, I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? It's a crock of shit, and then supposedly people are big on, receipts. How come nobody calls that shit out? I mean, how come nobody calls a motherfucker out that's threatening in the videos to call 911 and not hesitate to do it? What's old school about that? Nothing. Nothing's old school about that. Drop by my channel, Lou. People are fighting. What? Drop by my channel. Drop by my channel, Lou. People are fighting, but there's no doubt you are stand up. You got mad respect here. Yeah, I always try to be stand up, And I even took my time to explain to people way back when, like what certain things was about. You know what I'm saying? That I should have never even tried to help other people by connecting them with, basically what I was trying to do was cross two genres. I didn't have a channel at the time. We didn't have No Fly Zone. Definitely didn't have this channel. And I was trying to cross genres, with the mob genre and then the prison genre, because these cats were actual organized crime members of an organization that I'm not going to say, but I was trying to cross the genres and help these guys out, maybe get 1,000 subs from each other, because at the time, both channels had about 25,000 subs, and here I'm playing the middle guy, and because, I wasn't doing crime no more. I considered that I changed my life somewhat. And, I can admit that I made a mistake. I should have never crossed that line. I made a mistake because at the end of the day, people haven't changed, and thanks to Robert Russell too, from Comics Inc., he brought out a lot of things, made a lot of good points that were absolutely on the money. Everybody's fucking horrible. Everybody's a garbage pail. Everybody's family's bad, but my family's good. You know what I mean? Fuck all that. You know what I mean? Fuck all that bullshit. I knew that guy wasn't right from the get-go, from the first conversation I had with him when he was using the handle horror gamer. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's, and, it's just, you know, I kind of felt at one point in debt, not so much indebted, but thankful to him, grateful to him, because a certain somebody came out making a video about me, threatening that he was going to stab me, and then, you know, that guy made a video contesting that. You know what I mean? But that didn't last too long. You know, within a week later, here I am being called a spick and all kinds of shit, and he's not saying nothing about it, and he's right there in the chat. You know, and since then, I've heard numerous things come out of his mouth. You know, it's one thing if you say one thing, and like me and Sean, we spoke about it about, you know, some people call a certain content creator Harambe. You know, I don't dig it. You know, now Sean's, you know, me and Sean spoke, and he's like, well, I've called him that. Okay, you know, but at the same time, that's only one thing I've heard you say. You know, this guy said multiple different things. You know, he called me a bean eater. I've heard him say banana boat. I heard him say all kinds of different bullshit. You know, at what point is it not okay no more? You know what I'm saying? At one point is it exactly what it is? You know, someone threatened me. Yeah, that fucking fake ass motherfucker that tried to say he's Italian, but he's, you know, basically just like me, Latino like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? And you know, he said, "Oh, I'll be out in California in a couple weeks, right around my area where I live." He said, "A couple weeks tops." He said he'll be over here. So I said, "Okay, cool. I'll come see you then." And he said, "Yeah." Well, of course, he didn't show up. You know what I'm saying? He just talks out the side of his neck too. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? But I can, that asshole. Yeah, that sorry motherfucker. Piece of shit motherfucker. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, you got motherfuckers that come on here. You guys ain't never heard me say anything about any fucking thing that I've done. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? As far as anything violent. Carrying this, using that, none of that. Because for what? Why would I come on here talking about what I've done when it comes to things like that? And I'm not even saying I've done much. I haven't. You know what I'm saying? I had some run-ins here and there, but I'm not going to come on here talking about it. You got some of these assholes talking about they done stabbed 30 motherfuckers. Get the motherfucker out of here. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here. Straight bullshit. You know? And it's like, why would you bring cops up into it? Even if your family members are cops or not. Why would you even say it on a video? For what? You know what I'm saying? Why? Why even bring up that you got a friend that you've known since 10 years old or whatever, 10th grade, and he's a cop and he's a deputy sheriff in Florida, and he asked you if you wanted him to go by and talk to those guys? For what? Why even bring that up? Just for you to say, "Oh no, I told him no." Why even bring all that up? Why even say that? Oh, I got friends down there, patch holders. You know, I can send them, but I'm not gonna. Why bring that up? You know what I'm saying? But now it's to the point now where you're telling people, you're dry snitching, and you're telling people, "Oh, get these people's information so I can do this and do that." You know what I'm saying? So I can report them to the FBI, and I won't hesitate to call 911. You know what I mean? There's nothing old school about that. You got some asswipes that are in the comment section talking about, "Oh, I'm like you, old school." There ain't nothing old school about none of that shit. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know what's going on, if that's actually him and his family that they're talking about and putting out there. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't give a shit about none of that. But at the same time, I feel that, some of that was brought on. You know what I mean? First time I saw you, Lou, was when you argued with that guy. The guy is Latino. Yeah. His last name ends in a Z, man. He said in college they call him White. How? LOL. Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Hair is black as a motherfucker. He shows no features of being Sicilian. But that's how you know, too, when the motherfucker talks and he tries to make it, he puts too much. He puts what we say, a 20 on a 2 or a 10 on a 2. Where he's trying to talk and convince everybody that that's what he is. You know what I mean? You see his mother? His mother is not a Sicilian or Italian. No fucking way. You know what I mean? It just, to me, bro, if you can't keep it real on who you are, or what you've done in the past, even if it's embarrassing or whatever, but you can't keep it real, then I ain't got really no place for you, period. You know what I mean? I've never came on here threatening people. You know what I'm saying? I never come out here talking out of my ass. I never come out here talking out the side of my neck. You know what I mean? I don't glorify that life of crime. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wasted 12 years of my life in that fucking place. You know what I mean? I missed my daughter's birth, my last daughter's birth. I missed special days, different kids' first walk, first day of school, different things like that. You know what I'm saying? I missed a lot of holidays, a lot of birthdays. I always made sure I sent some cards, on the birthdays and and Christmas and things like that, but it's not the same as being there. You know what I mean? And I can admit when I'm wrong and when I feel bad about something I did wrong. You know what I mean? I'm not going to come on here threatening people. Like you guys know, I don't use that word. I will not call nobody a bitch, even if I got into it with them. I'm not going to call them a bitch. I'm not going to call them a punk because those are straight up fighting words, right? And if I'm on a screen and you're on the screen and you're fucking 300,000 miles away from me, I can't get to you. You can't get to me. So why would I go that route calling you all that? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be on here clowning people on their looks. You know, it is what it is. We don't know everybody's stories. We don't know everything, what everybody's been through. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's just a form of fugazi shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Plastic ass shit. Plastic on shit, man. Not keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? And people should have a problem with that. If you're admitting, if you say you're a Purple Heart recipient, you know what I mean? People should have an issue with that because there's a lot of families that, you know, if they're young when they passed away in the military and they're doing their duties, that's all their family has to remember them by, the American flag and a Purple Heart. You know what I'm saying? Or if they're a little older and they had a wife and kids already, that's all their family has to remember them, the Purple Heart and the flag. So if you're going to be false, you know, claiming something that you don't have, especially on that level, that's not cool. Big Blue, you always get family oriented. What I've seen, yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? You don't see me in pictures with. You don't see me with pictures with homeboys and you know, yeah, I got a few pictures from the pen and stuff like that, but yeah, you don't see me putting that up there. You know what I'm saying? All the pictures on that is all with my kids and you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I don't glorify that life. Too many people lost too much, you know, being involved with that stuff. Everyone is obsessed with Italian and Latino things. Everyone wants to be like us. LOL. Yeah. Well, I will say this: the Latino gangsters, the ones from Chicago, the ones from California, mimicked after the Italians. You know, well, I was going to say the struggle, but I think all the struggles when organizations first start, they all have that same general idea, right? To be there for their own peoples, right? But eventually, down the road, they end up oppressing their own peoples, right? But I'll say this, that some of the organizations that ended up being created, like here in California, and the video I did this morning was on Chicago and how the outfit influenced Chicago gangs. I believe that the organizations that popped up mimicked the Black Hand, the Cosa Nostra, and stuff like that. I'm firm on that. I'll definitely say that, no doubt. You know what I mean? Understand what you're saying, but they have the wrong values. Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the thing. Buffalo Billy, me personally, I give a flying fuck. That's the whole thing about it. He made a video saying that me, gave his information about him and his family to another content creator. And that's the thing about it. I don't give a flying fuck who he is. That doesn't bother me one way or another in my daily routine, my daily life. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck who he is. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, period. You know, and to say I gave his information is a crock of shit. You know what I mean? I don't dig that shit one bit. It's a bold-faced lie. Where's the receipt, motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? You know, and then, like I said, I've seen so many people in the comment section talking about fucking, oh yeah, thanks for telling us. Like, oh, like it's just straight up legit what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. In Cali, we all get along with each other, though, for the most part. Yeah, for the most part. But even that, though, Sean, like when you're in a setting, like you're in the shoe or in the whole setting, you have respect for everybody that's around you, no matter what group segment or what organization they're from or associated with. You know what I mean? Like, for example, when you drive up for the shoe, Pelican Bay or Corcoran, and say you ain't got none of your people that are right there in that area, the so-called opposition will be the one sliding you over a care package with soups, maybe some deodorant, you know, things to eat. I've seen that happen a lot of times. It was to protect themselves, like the Mexicans, whites, and blacks were dominant. The organizations eventually evolved. Yeah, they evolved to oppress their own people. Straight up. I think I meant I'm drunk, LOL. I meant no offense. Duh. Buffalo dude, it's all good. Okay, you guys are talking to each other. So, yeah, that's definitely not no part of me. I'm not with that, man. Not with, I'm not with, making threats to people, calling them those couple of names that I already repeated. I'm definitely not giving nobody's information. I mean, I don't even know how to even start to even do that, first of all. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Lou, we are both cool with people who are bickering. All I know is that you've always held it down well and shown me respect. I won't get into politics. We are final. Yep, likewise. Likewise. And like I said, that's just not my part of my. That's not part of my DNA, bro. Straight up, not part of my DNA. Like I said, I don't even know where to start doing that at. First of all, I'm not even tech savvy, bro. I haven't even made myself. Yeah, I made thumbnails for the lives, but I haven't figured out how to make the thumbnails for the pre-recorded videos. I haven't made an intro or outro yet. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things I don't know how to do. So anybody listening, if you know how to do any of that and you can assist me, I'll pay you. You know what I'm saying? People don't think you gave info. Trust me. Yeah, I didn't give info. That's not. I don't mess around like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not part of me. That's not what I do. That's just, you know what I mean? I just don't know where. I don't get out like that. No need to explain. We don't believe you gave me. Yeah, I didn't give you. Who ain't lying? There's guys here that I there's guys that I'm other content creators that I have their numbers like different genres, right? I don't I make contact with them every so often, maybe once a week, every couple of weeks, something like that. You know what I mean? No way in hell. You know what I'm saying? Howdy, Big Lou in chat. What's up, Double J? Double J in the house. Big Lou just asked me. I'll make you video thumbnails live. Yeah. Well, how do I get a hold of you? G Day, Kangaroo Jack, Gamboody. Double J is my man. Yes, sir. Double J, Dingo took me, baby. Mate, you forgot to say mate. Dingo took me, baby, mate. And get little Foster's Australian some beer. Email him, Papa. Well, I don't know. You got to tell me his email. I don't know his email. Dago Dundee or Gunny Steve Irwin, laughing out loud. Let me know how to get a hold of you, Buffalo Billy. I downloaded some apps the other day, but I couldn't figure out how to. I was able to get the thumbnail on there, but I wasn't able. I didn't figure out how to attach the. I didn't figure out how to attach the the video to the thumbnail. You know what I mean? I know probably if I sat there and played around with it more, then I would figure it out. All right, Buffalo Billy, I see that. Then I probably would figure it out, but I haven't figured that out yet. And then I got another app I downloaded called VLLO. I was starting one day. I spent about 2 hours on it, and I stretched it out for the intro, outro, like 15, 16 seconds. And then when it came time to pick the music, I even made me like one of those deals where you put what it do with Big Lou with different whatever letters I wanted to put, and then I was able to put the scribe sign and the thumbs up sign and the bell. And then when I went to pick the music, I wasn't aware at the time, but I was supposed to double tap on it. So when I tapped on it once, it was like buffering, and I thought that I was messing up, but I wasn't. Oh, okay, yeah, ask Tom. Yeah, I was gonna ask Tom. Matter of fact, I talked to Tom. Let me see. When did I talk to Tom? I talked to Tom on, I think it was over the weekend. I spoke to Tom over the weekend, and I was talking to him about some of the different shows that he had on, and I was going to ask him about that. Paul Hogan probably sold 1 billion tins of Fosters. Fosters, Australians, beer. Yeah. Then you got the, remember we were talking about the kangaroos earlier, then you got the wallabies over there too. Those used to be a brand of shoes that we used to wear over here back in the day. Well, actually, not really me. It was the generation before me. Probably the guys now would be like mid-50s, 50s, at least 50s. So you're talking 6 years older than me. Jerry Gambuti, true, bro. Nobody knows Foster is from England, not Australia. Really? I didn't know that. See, you learn something new every day. Ask Australian person stories. Foster's is from tourists, etc. Well, at one point, didn't England ruled Australia, right? That's why you have the part of the Australian flag has the England flag on it, and they used to Australia was used as a prison, right? Prison country. Here for the generation of gazelles. Gazelles? What's gazelles? Aren't hug boots made from kangaroo skin? I'm not sure about that. Gazelles? What do you mean gazelles? The animal? I don't know what gazelles are. That's a shoe? I'm not aware. Oh, glasses. Okay, my bad. I got some what do they call it? Carreras. I got some Carreras, and then I got some gangster, the Lopes that I wear a lot. But I got a pair of glasses and Carreras. I like those glasses. So that's this, and I got a few people in here too. Just when I was about to shut it down, I think I had 4 or 5 people, and then all of a sudden it shut up to like 12, and then now it's been at like 8, 9, 10, which I'm grateful for that. I appreciate everybody that stopped in and spent some time here on What It Do with Big Lou. And Australia was built by convicts in the 1800s. Yeah, but then they also have a prison there as well, right? Pretty sure. But yeah, that's cool. What about what about the Aboriginal people? Are they only like in certain areas of Australia, or do you see them a lot in like the city areas too? Like, have they eventually? Do they always stay in the secluded areas of the mountains or whatever, or do they come into, now after all these years, do they also come into the city and live? Do you see them? I got a couple of pairs of Cartier. One of them are puffs. The other are just plain glasses. They're clean though. Yeah, Cartiers. Yeah, I heard of those. Is that kind of like the Cartiers? Kind of look like the ones that Chicky be wearing, where the lenses are darker. Oh yeah, yeah. No shit. Most of the stuff that comes out that motherfucker's mouth on videos, he would be saying, "I give a fuck how big you are. I give a fuck how big you are," because we all know there's things that can take down a motherfucking giant, right? It's like in the pen. I've seen a lot of dudes that, I've seen them take on 2, 3 guys on a couple of different occasions because they became, bad standings with the people. They were going against the grain. But then I also see them, finally handle that dude. Lose a Wilder knockout look dodgy to me, just a arm punch. What do you think? No, because this dude, everybody knows that guy is powerful. Nobody punches like that dude. He's knocked out everybody he's faced except for Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? Tyson Fury's a huge man. I mean, when it comes to boxing, he's 6'8", 6'9", damn near 300 pounds. 270, whatever he is. And even then, Wilder put him on his ass, on his back and ass, 4 or 5 times. Those are gazelles. Yeah, that's what I said. Okay. All right, Sean, I got you. Those are gazelles. But I heard that brand Cartier. Yeah, you hear them here. I've heard that. Yes, they are around in the big cities. Okay, yeah, because recently I watched a documentary on a boy and he's got to go up and travel into the mountain. He's got to go up into the mountain a little bit, and then he comes down and he's got to kill a crocodile, or it's his passion to become a man or whatever. Nelly Nail in the house. Luda, stop playing, you 4'9". Come on, man, stop telling people my secret, bro. 5'3". 5'3", man. Come on now. Look like he dived like Malik Scott again. I don't know. What about that left hook knockout from Caleb Plant on Anthony Durrell? That was a good ass punch. He knocked the shit out of him. And then too, I don't like all that shit talking about, ain't no white boy gonna beat me, this and that. Like, why does it gotta go there? Well, I mean, come on, man. You guys are professional athletes. Who the fuck talks like that in professional athletes? You only hear it in boxing. You don't hear it in basketball. That white boy ain't gonna take it to the hole on me and dunk on me. Luka Duncan ain't gonna do this, for football. You know what I'm saying? Christian McCaffrey ain't gonna catch a TD pass on me, white boy. I ain't gonna let no white boy. Come on, man. That shit sounds ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Cuban link, huh? Nelson, you got the Cuban link jumping off? Yeah, that's true too. What Tim Egan saying, the camera angles can be deceiving, but everybody knows that Wilder has a hell of a punch, man. That dude is fucking strong. And like I said, yes, in the video I made this morning, besides the two champions, Fury and Usyk, I don't believe nobody can beat Wilder. Excuse me. Besides those two guys, I don't think Anthony Joshua can beat him. I don't think Anthony Ruiz can beat him. I think he's gonna knock out all them motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, what about if you want to? What about the punch with George Foreman when he knocked out Michael Moore? How did that look to you? Because to me, it didn't look. The two punches he hit him prior to the left and then the right cross or the straight right when he put him down, those two punches look more vicious because even Michael Moore backed up after he hit him. AJ beats Wilder. Nah, no way. No way in hell does AJ beat Wilder. No way. No way. No way, because I'll tell you why. The dude's been rocked so many times. He's been rocked by, obviously, Andy Ruiz. He's been rocked by Dillian White. He's been rocked by a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And they don't even have that punching power like Wilder. Wilder just go nuts on him like he did with that one dude, the dude with the dreadlocks from Haiti. Vern, I think his name was. Yeah, there's no way AJ beats him. No way. I don't buy it at all. I can't go on that one. I think AJ's, he was champion for a while. He still has a big name. He still will make a lot of money. But I can see him being champion again once Fury, decides to retire or whatever, and and moves on. I can see that happening. You know what I mean? I can definitely see that happening. But I don't think he can beat Wilder. Foreman was a 1-2. Moore said first punch got him, second just knocked him over. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. But I just seen it this morning, right? Because I don't know if you guys watched Rummy's Corner, but Rummy Corner did the 50th greatest knockouts, and Foreman was on there a few different times. Once getting knocked out by Muhammad Ali, once knocking out Jerry Cooney, once knocking out Michael Moore. But when he hit Michael Moore, those first two, boom, boom, Michael Moore backed up a little bit, and then Foreman hit him with a left and then a right. That overhand right. Well, it was more of a straight right, and dropped him. You know what I'm saying? And that's how Foreman used to punch, though. Foreman wasn't really so much of a hook and an uppercut guy. He was more like Double J said. He was more of a 1-2. Left jab, right, straight right, boom. You know what I'm saying? I think Joe Joyce is going to be tough for everyone. Yeah, I got Joe Joyce also there. I got Usyk with the 3 belts he got, and Fury with the belt he has, and then the second tier of guys I got in no particular order. I'm just saying them up: Wilder, Ruiz, Joshua, and Joe Joyce. Because Joseph Parker was an ex-champion, right, WBO, but then Joshua took the belt from him, and then Joe Joyce beat Parker recently, and that was a pretty good fight, But I think Joe Joyce is the prospect on the way up. You know what I mean? But I think by that time, probably Fury probably won't even be around. Not Fury, excuse me. Wilder's already 38, I believe. I think Deontay Wilder's 38, so he ain't gonna be around. He's not gonna be around a whole long time. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't think it's in his best interest to go down to Bridgerweight and fight Bridgerweight. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe he fits, uh, weight wise, he could be a Bridgerweight. I think what is Bridgerweight? Is it 205 or 210? Not sure about that. But Joyce is 35 years old. Damn, he's pretty old then. Uh, yeah, I don't know then. I don't know how old Andy Ruiz is. Um, I think Ortiz is over the hill now. Areola obviously is over the hill. Some of those guys, I don't see them, making any waves in the heavyweight division. I can see them still fighting, next tier of guys. You know what I'm saying? But as far as competing with Fury, Usyk, and Wilder, I don't see, some of those guys competing with them at that level. The next tier of fighters, like Joe Joyce 35, I can see them still making money because, Joshua still has a big name. I think Andy Ruiz has a decent name, not as name as big as Anthony Joshua. But Andy Ruiz, for being a fat kid, man, he's got quick ass hands and he does have power behind it. You know what I'm saying? Joe Joyce beats Wilder for me too. I don't know, man. I don't know because he got that punching power. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. This so-called WBC eliminator, right? And then what about Clarissa Shields? I didn't realize until this morning that she only has 13 pro fights. I didn't know that. I thought she had more fights than that. And she's already being considered the GOAT, right? The greatest woman boxer of all time. She's undisputed at middleweight. She was undisputed at junior middleweight. And she's only 13. She only has 13 wins. She's got like 5 gold medals. She's highly decorated. You know what I'm saying? Highly decorated. Usyk is very decorated also. He got 20 fights, 13 knockouts. He's undisputed at cruiserweight and 1 belt away from being undisputed at heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney looked good in the rematch in Australia. He didn't come out the same just working the jab. He actually was throwing some rights, catching Kambosos a lot, but at times he was hitting Kambosos a lot. And, because he don't have a lot of punching power, Kambosos was able to get himself back, his head back into things and start delivering some punches. But to me, he looked out of it a lot. He looked like he was discombobulated, and the punches were getting to him. He had a cut on his head, the side of his head, and also his eye. Devin Haney had a cut too. Yeah, I didn't watch Clarissa Shields, but I'm just saying she's got some good. She looks good. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch women fight. I respect it. Just don't like it yet. Plant set that KO up beautifully. Yeah, he did. And that's the thing. Anthony Durrell is a 2-time WBC super middleweight champion, right? He's like 37, 36, 38 as well. I don't see him like I was talking about these other fighters in the heavyweight division. He can still, fight, but he's not at that level. He's not at David Benavidez. He's not on maybe David Morale. I really haven't seen David Morale fight, but not Benavidez, not Canelo. He can't fuck with Canelo. But what do you think about this? Double J and Tim Egan. So how they're talking all this shit that Canelo's scared. He don't want to fight David Benavidez. He ain't got no balls. Jose Benavidez says, right? Well, how come nobody's saying, "Hey, dummy"? And I like David Benavidez as a fighter. I think he's got a lot of talent, right? He's got a future for sure as soon as Canelo gets out the way. But the thing is this, like, how come nobody's saying, "Hey, dude, you don't got the belt. You have no losses, but yet you're a 2-time WBC super middleweight champion, but you've never lost. How come you don't have the belt anymore?" And why? Because he gave a dirty test for a substance, right? And then he couldn't make weight another time. So the belts get stripped. How come nobody holds him account and speaks up for that? Because if he still would have been champion right now, then Canelo would have been chasing him to try to get that WBC belt in order for Canelo to be undisputed at 168. But I've heard nobody say anything about that, you know. And then again, it's it's minimizing and minimizing that situation. You know what I'm saying? You know, again, Canelo makes 10, 15, $20 million a fight. You know, they're saying David Benavidez makes about 300 grand. You know, how is that beneficial to Canelo as an investment? Boxing's a business. So each fight's an investment, the way I look at it. You know what I'm saying? I know they say the best fight's the best and this and that, but, you know, I think that, you know, well, then again, on the flip side of that, nobody's on Canelo's level at the super middleweight, right? Yeah, Caleb Plant, he's still a good fighter, still there, right? Ex-IBF champion. Anthony Durrell, two-time ex-WBC champion at that division. David Benavidez, ex-two-time champion. But then you got, they throw Charlo's name in there. Charlo's middleweight. So what's Charlo going to come up to fight? Charlo's going to come up 160 to fight Canelo or Benavidez. You know, just like Triple G did. You know, I'm discussing with Ben and Eddie Hearn. Yeah, what happened with Ben? He tested dirty, huh? Tested dirty. What's up, Italiano 559? What's that? Conor Ben tested dirty, and the fight was called off, or what happened with Eubanks Jr.? And that's another thing. Eubanks Jr. has been fighting at super middleweight for a while. He's also fought at, I think, middleweight as well, but he's been at super middleweight for a while. Conor Ben is a welterweight. You're talking 21 pounds difference. That's a huge difference. That's three divisions. Yeah, that's three divisions up. You know, welterweight's 147. Then you got super welterweight / junior middleweight 154, middleweight 160, and then super middleweight 168. So is he coming? Was Eubanks coming down to 160, and Conor Ben going up to 160, or was he going all the way up to 168? Yep, caught with masking agent in his system, but he tried to hide it and push on with the fight. Yep, caught with masking agent. What the hell is a masking agent? Masking agent. I don't know what that is. A substance used to cover up or disguise unpleasant odors? No, that's what is demasking. How does a masking agent work? Diuretics are the simplest form of masking agent and work by enhancing water loss via urine excretion and thus diluting the urine, which results in lower concentrations of banned substance. Oh, okay. I got it. Never liked Hearn. It will be interesting to see what happens with Ben. Well, he's probably going to get suspended, I would imagine, right? Dragon Reborn 82. What's happening, man? What's happening with you, bro? I ain't seen you around in a long minute. I'm good, man. Just working overtime today because of missing on making videos the last couple of days because I wasn't feeling good. They gave me some medication and jacked my stomach all up, and I was like constantly having cramps and feeling like I had to go to the bathroom and I couldn't go. You know what I'm saying? I'll leave it at that. Won't get into too much more information than that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So I missed, like I mentioned earlier, I missed the car club event Sunday. You open up your trunks, you know, where your speaker box and your hydraulics are, and you set up Halloween decorations, and then you pass out candy to the kids, or you can have the bucket there, and if you're going around to the other cars, say with your kid, then the kids will just come up and grab what they want. Big Lou, I brought tamales. Where do I put them? What? Big Lou, I brought tamales. Where do I put them at? I put them at. Been busy as shit with holsters. That's right. Yeah, I seen some of your work, man. Nice. Uh, just chilling. I did a little video on Chicago today, right? But I want to do a video on East Los, and I'm wondering if you would do a collab with me um, on the history of East Los. You know what I'm saying? Some of the older areas, you know, such as White Fence, Hazard, the other one, Maravilla, Indiana Street, you know, those neighborhoods. Let me know. I hit you up in the comments about, I don't know, a couple weeks back, and I don't think you've seen it. But yeah, let me know about that. I want to start dropping content about some of the cities, California. You know what I'm saying? East Los, you know, East Los Angeles is, you know, I don't know, no blood. I don't know nothing, bro. That's what I tell the cops. Yeah, well, I'm not a cop, I say. No, you don't got to go into names. You don't have to say names like people, but just like give some of the histories on some of the areas, like you know, like even what was it? I think it was oh man, I'm trying to think of that neighborhood. They used to be like all Jews, and like other neighborhoods were Italian back in the day, and then sometime in the 30s or 40s, 50s, and the Mexicanos started moving in there, and they took over the areas. I want to say, oh, Boyle Heights. I think Boyle Heights were Jewish, was a Jewish area at one time, because that's where Mickey Cohen is born at over there. Where's the big pine tree from Blood In and Out? That's, I think, is that Pico Aliso or Pico Rivera or something like that. I think Just Chillin' did oh, you know what I think it was? I think that was dude from Converse Perspective. A few months back, he was traveling. He stopped over there in L.A. and he went to that area right there where that tree was at. But Just Chillin' might have done something with that too. I don't remember. I think that's Pico Aliso, Pico Rivera, or something like that. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it was. Yeah, okay, well, that's cool. That's cool. Because you know what I mean, that's what I'm gonna, you know, it's not like I'm gonna be telling on nobody. All this shit's well documented in all kinds of different literatures. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't say nobody's name that's active, nothing like that. So I got you. I just, you know, I'll do my own thing. You know, thing. Um, the oh man, I think. Let me see. I think is it. I don't know if that. What was the name of that tree? That tree area over there. What was that? Pico Aliso or Pico? Pico Aliso, Pico Viejo, Pico Nuevo, something like that. What's up, Mando Castillo? Semi saludos. Um, yeah, I think that's. You're where? Mando, you're in EMF, huh? You're from El Monte, right? Uh, what can you answer that question? James Jameson asked, what was the name of that area where that tree was at in the Blood and Blood movie? Not sure if I got that right or not. Hey, what? Let me ask you this too, Mando. Wasn't Mando Castillo wasn't back in the day? Because I heard OGs from EMF, Monte Flores, and a couple from Monte Hicks, Monte Hayes, and all that. I heard them saying that back in the day. You know, now they say SGV, right? But these cats were like, these cats are like in their 60s now. But they were saying like back when they were youngsters, teenagers, 15, 16, that they would just say LA County or whatever. or LA. They would say LA, not LA County, because we know SGV is LA County, but they would say LA. They're from LA, not SGV like now. East LA, Boyle Heights. Yeah, East LA, Boyle Heights. That's where that tree's at, Boyle Heights. Yeah, but Boyle Heights, I believe Boyle Heights back in the day was all Jewish people. Yeah, of course, there'd probably be some Jewish people still there, but a lot of that neighborhoods were, before Mexicanos were there, there was a lot of other ethnic groups that were in those neighborhoods. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tap out on here pretty soon. Next couple minutes. I've been on almost for a couple hours. This is my 5th live today, and this is my 7th video. I did 2 pre-records earlier. Actually, 3 pre-records. Excuse me. I did 2 unboxing. One was only 3 minutes because I forgot to add it on the other one. Actually, I recorded those on Sunday, but I put them on today, and I forgot to add the Devin Haney fight with Kambosos Jr. in the first video with the talking about Wilder and Caleb Plant and Clarissa Shields. So I had to cut another video, which is about 3.5 minutes, maybe almost 4 minutes long. And then I did another video on loyalty. And then I did a live on the gangs in Chicago and how they mimicked how the outfit had influence on the gangs in Chicago. And then I did one on Marcus Allen and Howie Long profiles, NFL players. And then Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor, I did another profile on. And then now this one. You know what I'm saying? And it started out talking about John Jr. Then we started talking about some of the crocodiles and kangaroos and things of Australia. And now we're talking about movies and different geographic areas. Thanks, Lou, and chat. Peace out, everyone. Yeah, peace out. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Also, I'll put it out there now. I appreciate each and every one that comes back and watches the video after it's uploaded to YouTube. And all good in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, Big Lou, go tap on out with What It Do with Big Lou and NCR2. Peace, peoples.